When you are eating a keto diet, it is all about macros, keeping your carbs low, your protein moderate, and your fat high. But what about on a carnivore diet? Should your macros be the same? Keep watching to find out. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. And also make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where I share new posts every single day. So first, let's quickly go over what macros are. Macros is short for macronutrients, of which there are three types: carbohydrates, protein, and fat. On any form of a ketogenic diet, you need to keep your carbs low, usually less than 50 grams per day. In the absence of carbohydrates, your body will switch to burning fat for energy, and this is what makes the diet ketogenic. So we're going to go through all three macronutrients today and talk about if it is important, if it's necessary to track them or not. When you're eating a keto diet, you are eating foods that contain carbohydrates. And this is why a lot of people will track on keto. They need to make sure they aren't eating too many carbs. With carnivore, all the foods you are consuming, with the exception of a few, only contain trace amounts of carbohydrates. By default, you are going to be consuming next to no carbs. And for this reason, it is definitely not necessary to track your carbs. Next, let's talk about protein. Protein is supposed to be moderate on a keto diet. The idea is you should be consuming just enough protein to meet your needs, but if you consume too much, it's just going to turn into glucose and you'll be kicked out of ketosis. So should you be worried about consuming too much protein on a carnivore diet? Gluconeogenesis, which is the process of your body turning protein into glucose, is widely misunderstood in the keto community. And we should not be fearing eating too much protein. Gluconeogenesis is actually a good thing. Our bodies do need glucose to function, and since we aren't getting it through diet, we make it internally. The key thing to note is that gluconeogenesis is demand-driven. Our bodies only create glucose from protein as it is needed. If we eat too much, it doesn't automatically turn into glucose. I think a lot of people who are eating the keto diet fear protein and as a result end up eating too little. This is why some people, when they first start out, experience hair loss. Their protein is simply too low. I do not think you need to be tracking or worrying about eating too much protein on a carnivore diet. Protein is so satiating that it's near impossible to overconsume it. And if you are eating all animal foods, I think you're going to have a hard time under-consuming as well. And finally, we have fat. The reason people track fat when they are on a keto diet is they want to make sure they are eating enough. As I said before, in the absence of carbohydrates and glucose, our body switches to burning fat for energy. So do we need to track fat on a carnivore diet? Here's my take on it. If you are eating adequate amounts of protein, if you are opting for cuts of meat that still have the fat on, that aren't super lean, usually you end up eating enough to meet your needs. Buy fatty cuts of meat, add enough fat for cooking, and your fat macros tend to fall into place. Now, that said, if you are finding you are low on energy on a carnivore diet, up your fat. If you are trying to lose body fat and maybe not progressing towards your goals after a couple of weeks, decrease your dietary fat. That is really the only macronutrient you might have to tweak depending on your goals, but in general, you don't have to track it. In summary, you do not have to track macros on a carnivore diet. Unless you're consuming a lot of dairy, your carbs are going to be next to nothing. Protein is very filling and hard to overconsume. You're going to have a tough time eating too much. Fat is also very filling, but it might be the one macronutrient that you have to adjust based on your goals. But generally, it falls into place and your macros end up being about 60 to 70% fat and 30 to 40% protein with only maybe 1% or 2% carbohydrates. Very much ketogenic macros. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you found this video helpful, you might also enjoy my New to Carnivore playlist where I answer a wide range of frequently asked questions in several videos. I try to make them concise and right to the point like this one was. I will link that playlist up above. Also give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. And let me know in the comments down below what your macros are like on a carnivore diet. Do you track? Do you not? I know some people advocate for higher protein and moderate fat. If that's you, I'd love to hear more. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.